Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 319. Hope you're amazing as always. I always mean it. I always say it. Do you know what? I really do hope you're really good right now. The world's going in more in chaos. Let me give you a date just for time reference. It's the 25th of August, 2021. And you might be listening to this in the future. You might be listening to this today. And we thought COVID was going to get better, right? Well, it seems to be the world's going a bit more crazy. So what it means is there's limitations on us. There's restrictions, right? And you might find yourself retreating or giving up or looking for that shiny object syndrome or looking for something to escape with, right? But the truth is there's only one way we can go. It doesn't matter what rules come into place. It doesn't matter what restrictions come into place. It doesn't even matter what you feel is right, wrong, good or bad. It doesn't really matter. The truth is tomorrow, it's always going to appear. It's always going to appear. And that means that to reach the level of success that we truly want, they truly deserve, that level of life with freedom, money, income, happiness, calmness, a partner, awesome friends, freedom, right? Or even if you're building a business for massive impact, and that's cool too. I'm all about that. But what you got to understand is that we can limit ourselves. We really, really can in so many aspects, right? In so many aspects without us even understanding. If you're not in absolute dominant flow right now, then it really means there's something holding you back. There's a weight. And that weight is going to keep weighing you down until you remove it. Do you know what I mean? Until you change how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're acting, you're never going to get the results that you want. It's just how it works. Or you can have all the skill set in the world, right? If you had 2 Olympic medalists, right, or people going for the Olympics, and they both had the same skill set, who's going to win? You got it, right? The person with the mindset, the person with the installed belief system, that internal dialogue that pushes them that little bit more, the one who can calm their nervous system down as they step into the unknown, the one that can fire the chemicals in their brain to make them feel good, determined, focused, the one that can make sure that their adrenal glands don't explode and meaning that they're going to get stressed, anxious before that day of the event. Well, there's no difference between someone winning a gold medal and somebody scaling, growing, or wanting to start a business. It's all the same thing. You got to understand that. It's all the same thing. So, knowing that, I've obviously got a few things on the go. And one of them is... Well, I'm going to talk about that today. We won't talk about the 8-figure thinker. We won't talk about the genius trader club. We won't talk about other things. We're going to talk about this today. This is a live I did yesterday with my business partner, Dean. And the business is called Project Limitless, right? So Project Limitless is really about destroying all those boundaries of what you thought was possible. Because it doesn't matter what level you're playing at, there's such a bigger level. But you have to become somebody to be able to achieve those results. You can have all the tactics, all the strategies. I've seen it all before. 10,000 people I've seen personally. And you can have all the tactics and strategies you want, but the truth is, until you wire your brain and nervous system correctly, you are not going to be in flow and you are not going to perform at your highest level building whatever it is you're building. It's just a fact, right? It's just an absolute fact. So what I want to introduce you to is something special. Yes, you can go to the show notes and you can hit my coaching link up for me personally. You can find yourself around, right? AndyMurphy.online. But this is something unreleased, what I'm about to share with you today. It's unreleased to the public. We are putting something special on next month, and it's affordable to everybody. It really, really is. So if you're listening to this and you want to come and hang out with us for a whole day. Yes, a whole day. It's called the Limitless Day. It really is. And the goal with this is to get the 1 day system that predictably gets you to see your income, business, and future as a multimillionaire. That's it. Because if you can see that level of business or your level of business as a multi-millionaire, then you're going to make very different decisions. You're going to have very different belief system around what's possible, how you communicate with networks, and even the stepping stones that are going to lead you to that point. Sounds good, right? It is good, because this is the neuroscience, NLP, mental and business strategies that have assisted thousands of brilliant brains over the past 19 years globally. And every one of them desired more high performance, right? So if this is resonating with you, then come and have a chat, right? I'm going to put the link in the show notes, but you can just type in Facebook, right? Just start the Facebook group. You can go and just type in Project Limitless and come and find us, right? Come and find us and hang out. We're going to give you more of these details, because at the end of September, it's the last Wednesday in September. I think it's the 28th. I'll double check for you. But we're going to take on 15 people and we're going to move them through this whole day from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30, 5:30 at night. And it's going to be powerful. And I mean powerful. We're going to go through things like, well, first of all, in the morning, you're going to connect with me and Dean. Yeah. If you want to jump in before it starts, you can hang out with everyone and get to know each other. Then we're going to unlock limitless inside of you. And that's how to understand the power of your brain, your mind, and why the best in the world master this foundation first. And then we're going to move into the next stage, which is the secret strategies of being limitless, and simply how to install and upgrade your brain for world-class performance. It might sound a bit like, what does that mean? Well, you're going to learn all these underground tactics that I've taught for 19 years, right? Then we're going to get Big Dean's going to come on. He's a big, muscly fitness and super athlete. Who's also hyper intelligent, and he's going to show you the tactics, strategies, and science of limitless energy, clarity of thinking, and cellular health. Then we're going to move into money. Yes, we're going to upgrade your brain for millions. Going to show you the science of changing your future and past memories. That's a huge, huge thing, and you're going to be able to do that in this 1 day. So then we're going to look at your business and we're going to unlock billions in your business, because how you do that is how you think. It absolutely is. You can have all the tactics and strategies again, but it's how you think. So lateral and expanded thinking for strategic money moves. Then we're going to have a hot seat, and then we're going to actually, me personally, are going to do a live installation that I'm absolutely world famous for, and I'm going to drop you into your brainwaves, into accessing your unconscious software. Then I'm going to take you on a journey. So by the end of the day, you are going to be able to look back and realize how advanced you've become in your thinking, more advanced than 95% of the population, and you're going to have a game plan for the future. You're going to see the action steps. You're going to be thinking like a multimillionaire. And yeah, that's pretty awesome, right? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And guess what? It's going to be affordable. Especially this first one, it's going to be affordable for everybody. That includes you. Yeah, it includes you. So if that sounds awesome, then head over to, well, just type in Facebook, first of all. Type in Project Limitless. Or you can you can email me. Just email me, Andy at mindsetbydesign.co, or find me in the group, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you are, right? Message me. Send a little smoke signal. I'll come and find you. But at the end of the day, if that resonates with you, let's do this. 1 day could change your life. Sound good? Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Make sure that you're jumping into that. What else? Well, make sure that you're just hanging out with me. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram. Find me somewhere. But make sure that you're sharing this episode and make sure that you're doing something different today, because it's time. With all of this chaos in the world, I want to make sure that you are performing as your ultimate you. Just like I've done for NBC celebrities, world champion athletes, Fortune 500, CEOs, startups, whatever you want to imagine, right? World champions, royalty, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea, and these strategies, people want results fast. They haven't got time for anything else. So if you want the same results, come and hang out. Come and hang out. Sound good? Beautiful, beautiful. So take action and let's do that today. Type in Facebook, very easy. Project Limitless. Done. Right, okay, so should we jump into today's episode? Yes, it's me and Dean, and you can get a little taste of us two together. But what we go through is something awesome. We're actually going through 7 qualities you must understand if you want a limitless life. Yes. Very simple concepts, but very powerful concepts. And these are taken from my 8-figure thinker mental academy. And you can be a part of that too when we're relaunching that really soon. Really soon. So if you're a trader, we're launching products for you very soon. If you're an entrepreneur, this is your go-to Bible encyclopedia. But until then, hey, let's hang out live in the Limitless Day and the Limitless Project, or Project Limitless. So let's get into this. This is a good episode. It's about 45 minutes long. You're going to love it. And you got any questions or anything else? Well, let me know. And I will see you at the end of the show. Enjoy. Okay.
We're live.
Preparing to live, so it means it's live. I'm working this out, everybody. I'm working this out, you know? It's only taken a couple of months, but hey, we got there. Hope everybody is absolutely amazing. Different backgrounds today. You can see lots of different backgrounds as we're traveling around. But today, it's awesome. You need to pay attention to the day for so many different reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is you are going to learn about the 7 qualities you must understand to live a limitless life. And that's today, right now, in the next 20 minutes. How lucky are you?
Yeah.
How lucky are you? Before we jump in, before we even say hello to Mr. Dean, get your calendars ready. Get your calendars ready. Get your notepad and pen ready. Get yourselves ready, because you don't want to miss out and you want to remember this date instead, okay? So the end of September. Can you remember the exact date, mate? I'll have to pull the calendar up. But the end of September, the last
29th.
Wednesday, the last Wednesday in September, we have got something so, I'm going to use another so special for you. It's the Limitless Day. One day where you get to hang out with me and Dean. We go through 5 hours. It's probably actually even going to be over 5 hours. But what we're going to do is we're going to take you to a whole different world, a whole different place that you didn't probably know was possible about your business, your life, who you are inside of it. And I mean this, because imagine this, right? Imagine one day, a one-day system that gets you to predictably get you to see your income, your business, and your future as a multi-millionaire. Would that sound good? And that might sound silly until you understand how neurology or your brain or your mind muscle is actually put together. When you understand that and we expand you into a whole new world of seeing your business a different way, of feeling who you are inside that business a different way, unlocking income streams inside your business that in one day. Do you think that may make a difference? I think it would. These are the same strategies that nine-figure CEOs, digital multimillionaires, NBC celebs, and royalty all agree that this is the way to go. This is neuroscience, NLP, mental and business strategies that have assisted thousands and thousands of people all over the world for a combined over 30 years plus, right? Think about that. And it's special. I'm not going to even say anything more about it. You just need to get over to the link that I'm going to put in below all of this so you can come over to our little group, find out all the awesomeness, and join. That's it. It's a paid day. It's not free. It's none of this nonsense fluff, and we're not going to pitch you. No, you're going to get insane value. And by the end of that one day, I want you to see the world so differently that you're going to realize how important that day was. If that sounds good, beautiful. Check these links out. Message me a Dean. Do something. That's the whole point. Do something. So we'll come back to that later. So, Mr. Dean, sir.
Yeah.
How are you, mate? How are you, mate? You excited about that day, first of all? That's going to be fun. That's going to be badass.
I'm so excited about that just because, I've done so many of these, like as a student or a participant, I've done them on both ends, but, never have you always get something from there. But the thing that I find that, especially with what we're doing, is how quickly you're going to be able to apply it and see a return. You know what I mean? Instantaneously. And I don't feel like there's enough of those out there. So when I know what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be sharing with the world, it lights me up, dude. It just absolutely lights me up. So to say I'm excited is a massive fucking understatement.
I love it, mate. I love it. Me too, brother. Me too. It's going to be a blast. And we get to meet all these, our new tribe. You know what I mean? We get to hang out with this new crew of people. We're going to attract the badass people. And then it's going to be awesome because as we go into building the Project Limitless, it's just going to be so many amazing people like who are going to be students, but also going to be like mentors that we're going to bring as special guests. And it's just going to be awesome. Even if you're special, if we forwards the movie a little, we're even going to be doing luxury high-end events, all different places in the US and the world that you can be a part of. Imagine getting a tribe of highly intellectual alphas who are humble, connected to themselves, obsessed with helping and impacting the world, already badass at business, and deeply, deeply philosophical. Do you think that might be fun? Yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's a party, man. That's a party.
Dude, there's going to be some parties. We're going to be partying for sure. So today, sir, it's we wanted to cover, everyone listening, we wanted to cover some basic things today, but I really feel these are important. After seeing like probably 10,000 people myself, like face to face in this game, and Dean seeing God knows how many, it's there's certain characteristics or beliefs or views of the world that people have who've become successful. And they generally don't just happen by accident, right? So what happens is the brain, this is how it wants to work, right? You have a memory, a thought, a belief, or whatever it is, and the neurology of the software in your head just wants to loop and complete, loop and complete, loop and complete. Guess what this forms? A habit. How's a habit formed? Micro commitments, right? Micro decisions that lead up. This loop could be, I want some chocolate, using that as an example. I don't know why, but using that as an example, I want some chocolate. Ooh, chocolate tastes good. Let's buy some more chocolate. So the fridge is stacked with chocolate. Let's eat all the chocolate. Complete. Then it goes around and that forms into a habit, right? Well, understand that's the same way, the way you see yourself. The future, money, the scalability of your business, the speed it can happen, the level of income that you can have, the impact you can have on yourself, the world, the family, everything else. Understand, it's just a loop, right? So mine and Dean's job is to make these loops exactly what you want them to be. If you want a multi-million-dollar business, then we need to create a loop. If you want to just be happy, we need to create the loop. If you want to get Dean to show you how to get muscles like Dean, we have to create the loop, right? So we're going to give you today 7 characteristics that you must understand today, right? So you can live this limitless life that we're talking about. So we're going to start with the limitless day, right? You got it. Then you're going to be involved in Project Limitless, which is the whole community. And then you're going to be, connecting with us as a retreat in the future, just so you remember what you're going to do with us. So let's jump in the first one. And this, brother, is something, I don't know about you, but I catch myself doing this sometimes, right? And it's sometimes we can turn a small problem into a big problem, and so the first one is stop exaggerating, right? So classic example there, and this is why I'll jump in and ask you all this stuff. It's like for example, because you're dealing with, like, one of the things that you do, you run 2 really successful brands around the health, fitness, and just, health and fitness. Is that probably the right terms?
Yeah, health, fitness, and mindset. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Mindset's definitely a big part of it. So you must hear this all the time. I always eat too much. Right?
Yeah.
It's never I always train too much. It's always I eat too much, or I'll never lose weight, right? The key words there, everybody, is I always, right? So stop exaggerating. So what's your thoughts around that, bro?
Well, I think it's again, it comes back to conditioning, pre-existing conditioning, and things like that. And we tend to be super dramatic anyway, almost as a default. You don't even have to take a small problem to make it a mountain. Sometimes we take things that don't even exist, and now all of a sudden it's a massive problem, and it's not even there. But yeah, man, like, it's not enough for us to say that. We have to identify with it. I'm always this, so therefore I am this. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, every now and then I probably eat too much, or this, that, and the other. It's we way overblow it.
Right. I love what you just said. I am. And that's from a spiritual context, right? It's like such a definitive word. I am. Yeah. That's so and that's what you brought up, and I love that. So always, right? Here's the question. I always eat too much, or I always think bad about myself. I never win. I never earn the money. I can't do this, right? These are all, people don't understand the power of these specific words, right? And so you ask yourself, always? Really? Always? So even when you're absolutely full, you're sick, you're thrown up because you've eaten too much, you always eat more? No, you don't, right? So right. It's like, I always, it's such a, and I love what you said with I am statements. I am. Do you think that's half of the problem with people like in your industry with the fitness side? And do you think that's the problem with people creating limiting beliefs to themselves in business and actually expanding because they define themselves too much?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And this isn't even a woo-woo thing. This isn't, this is a very real deal. This is scientifically proven. Like when you think about this, okay, the Wright brothers, some say they were the first in flight, others will argue. That's neither here nor there, but our history books showed that, right?
Yeah.
So they said, I am going to invent something that is going to put us in the air, right? And that was their belief, and they followed through.
Right.
If they were to say, I am too stupid to possibly do this, it never would have happened. Now, who else did that? Every other son of a gun who didn't invent flight, right? So it's very important. Like, I think that people often, especially now, we're not telling you just think positive about yourself and everything will happen and unfold great, but you have to start the blueprint somewhere, right? So when you start exaggerating everything, what you're doing is you're just adding on to that blueprint. So you're basically adding on to the house that you've already built. And now you're just making more room in this house to hold more exaggeration. And then we start exaggerating the exaggeration and it compounds. Like you said, these loops, and the loops just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I love that as well. And also, we'll move on to the next one in a second. But again, what people got to understand about saying those definitive words, well, words equals emotions. This is what we teach. Words equals emotions. The emotions affect your behavior and your view of the world. So if you're saying, I am always, or I can't ever do these things, then what you're doing is you're really saying those words, which you're creating the negative emotion inside of you, which is then making you take non-action, right? So understand that little concept just by saying a word. The other side is it adjusts your focus. So if we can only focus on 3 to 5 things at once, really, which is true, one thing if we ultimately, right, we could just focus on the thing that's in front of us, but 3 to 5 things roughly, right? So if those things are taken up with things that you don't want or are harming you or holding you back, what are you doing? Right? And then we link to a filter system in your brain, right, which literally filters reality. And guess what you're pointing it to? You're pointing it to you can't, you always make mistakes or whatever it is. So these are the patterns that right now to live a limitless life, you've got to stop today, right? Number 2, and we all do this from time to time, right? Hey, stop beating yourself up, right? So what we have to learn is how to interrupt the negative self-talk that is keeping you stuck from changing your state. So how do you grab control of that? So with yourself, mate, how do you stop beating yourself up? Or how do you tell the clients to stop beating themselves up?
Well, you have to understand, especially here, I think it's important to change the dynamic from essentially stopping something to starting something. So like, here's the thing. And again, this almost tails off of exaggeration, but like, this could be anything. Say your company isn't doing as well as it should, right? What do we automatically start doing? We start looking for problems instead of what we should be doing potentially, because if you're just looking for problems and identifying problems, that's all you're gonna focus on. That's all you're gonna see. However, when we can flip the script a little bit and start looking for bright spots, okay, now why is this working, and so on and so forth. So with the beating yourself up thing, it happens in turn because we are literally focused in on the problem, right? So like, let's take another example, go back to the exaggeration. I always eat like shit. Well, do you really, or are you just focusing on the shit that you're eating and don't realize that you might be eating well 80% of the time and shit 20% of the time? You know what I mean? So when you stop beating yourself up, because one, you don't deserve it. You just don't. It doesn't matter. And it's only going to make things worse. But you can make that shift from stop beating yourself up to start looking at the bright spots. We shift the emphasis from the negative to the positive, because beating yourself up, all it does is give you another shovel to dig the hole deeper and faster.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's so true. And it makes me think about like the way we treat ourselves sometimes. And around 66% of the things that we say to ourselves internally each day, they're on repeat. So if you're saying shitty things to yourself and your focus is on that, guess what's going to happen, right? And then it affects your cells, your health, your motivation, your beliefs, like your creativity. It affects everything. But I always think about it like this, man. And then it's like, if you heard a friend talking to another friend like that, the same way as we talk to ourselves, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't even, or if somebody talked to you like that, you'd be like, whoa, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, we think it's okay to keep ourselves that way. Now, we understand trauma, we understand all these things and why we're doing it. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is you need to do these things and understand them so you can become, you can have a limitless life. So, number 3, brother.
Yep.
I love this one. And it ties into the filter system. It ties into how we perceive the world and our heart-brain activation. And we talk about neuroscience through that. But what we really, if you can see the world this way, number 3, then everything looks beautiful. Look for the love, right? Look for the love. And what's crazy is that if you know what Sanskrit is, Sanskrit's basically one of the oldest, if not the oldest language in the world. It's from India. And what's crazy is the word love in Sanskrit actually means looking for the good. Think about that, man. Looking for the good, loving everything.
And here's the thing. It goes back to you've heard this put so many different ways, the silver lining, the glass is half full, again, look for the bright spots, things like that. But it completely changes the game. And really what it ultimately boils down to is imagine you have a meeting, right? And you have a meeting and it's potentially with a partner, maybe not a partner, maybe it's a board member that you share a seat with, or maybe it's your boss and you don't particularly like this person. So you're always setting yourself up to go in there with this, well, I guess negative attitude going into it. Like, I don't particularly like this person. They never have good shit to say anyway. So
right.
They kind of just, bleh, right? But when you shift that to looking for the love, looking for the bright spot, and this person could be a gigantic piece of shit, but they weren't always that way. If you can start to understand in any person, situation, capacity, or circumstance that it wasn't potentially always this way, and try and find that within them that was always that with innocent and good at the beginning, and start looking at them like that and going in looking for the love, it completely shifts everything. It's the catch more flies with honey almost, phrase. And it's true. But when you do it authentically, it completely changes everything. Because if you go in there phony baloney, they're going to smell it and it's just going to make the situation worse.
The worst saying in the world is act as if, It's like we go back to martial arts. If you act as if you are a fighter without training and you get into a ring, it's not going to work out too well, right?
There's plenty of those. We don't need more of those out there.
Dude, YouTube's, Instagram's full of them. Instagram's full of them with the chi strikes. But it's so good, man. It's so good. But that's a weird thing in itself. Let's talk about chi strikes for a second, right?
Yeah.
So that's a belief. That's mass hypnosis. Now, we saying energy isn't real? No, we're saying energy is definitely real, because that's a whole different topic that me and Dean are banging into. That's a whole different thing, how the universe works, how you manifest. Whole different topic, right? It's not woo-woo, it's real stuff. But those groups of martial artists, if we want to even use that word, right? It's like they're looking up to, it's like a cult, right? They're looking up to the leader of the cult, who's mass hypnosed them all to believing of his superpowers. So if you don't have that belief about the superpowers of that guy, it's funny that they don't work. Do you know what I mean? The chi strikes don't work. And you've seen these events and China was going crazy for years on this, because as MMA came through, mixed martial arts, these old masters were challenging these MMA fighters to a fight. You've seen these things, guys with big white beards and shit. Yours is gray, mate. I mean, black, mate. But yours is but theirs is gray and white. But it's and then they'll just get beat up. Why? Because the view of the world is so different from what reality is. But back to my point, besides chi strikes, but to your point, I should say, you walk into that meeting, right? And before, that guy's been a complete idiot, douchebag, an asshole to you or the team. I always look at it things like this. How do we find the love in that person, right? How do we find the love so we can enter that room, that meeting, or that circumstance that we feel such pressure to, and our mind is really focused on the outcome not being good? How do we change that? Well, very, very quickly. It's very simple. Well, what would happen if you stepped out of your eyes and looked through their eyes? Just for a moment, right? You're going to look through your eyes. I'm walking into a meeting I don't really want to be in, blah, 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 right? Cool. Look through their eyes, who's running that meeting, for example. They're under so much pressure and stress. You got to look at like who's leaning on them, right? What they have to get, goals have to get done. You look through their life. How's their home life? How's their health? How's their view of the world? How's their everything that's led them up to sitting in that meeting and reacting that way? And if we can look that way, then what it means is that we can be actually forgiving. We can be grateful. We can be all of these things that means, like you say, dude, we can look for the love in that situation. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And hey, if you're watching this now or you're watching this later, I'm going to give away a badass tactic that I use doing this very thing. Okay. Now you can take it and run with it. And I promise if you do, it's going to change things for you today. And if you don't, that's on you. That's good. But one of the things I practice wholeheartedly, and I truly believe this with every fiber of my being, is this. If you have an issue with somebody, it's because you see something in them that you have in yourself and you just don't know it. Like we never want to think we're the issue. But if you can recognize the flaw in somebody else, it's because you have experience with it within yourself. Like it's kind of like this, we can smell our own. So like say you have an issue and somebody's a douchebag to you in a meeting, it's because whatever they're douchey about, you have in yourself. Yeah. So the practice that I use is anytime I know I'm going to be dealing with somebody like this, or say it's somebody I don't even know, and then they kind of start triggering me, I start really thinking about where it is in me that I have those same qualities. Yeah. And in turn, it makes me start to treat them like I'm talking to myself. And it changes the whole dynamic. And then you can almost see the shift from them and you, the polarities, and it makes everything so much better. And it happens like this. You just got to teach yourself to recognize it really fast. So I have an issue with you. It's because there's something in me that is the same thing, because essentially we're just mirrors,
So I love that, dude. That's a great little technique, man. It's a great little technique. I like to ask this question. It's a very NLP old school question, and you can use it on other people, and it might help them. It might piss them off, but you can use them on yourself. It's like, what is it about them, or what is it about myself that I need to change? Because when I look at them, I'm reacting like this. Right? Solid question, right? What is it about myself that I need to change? Because when I'm looking at them, I'm reacting like this. You can also say it to them. What is it about yourself? Dude, whoa. What is it about yourself that you need to change, man? Because I'm just standing here. I'm not doing anything. So what is it about yourself that you need to change? So it can piss them off. Probably will. So might as well work on ourselves.
I wouldn't go that other route at all.
No,
that doesn't work. That doesn't work nearly as good.
So you might have a fight, but it depends where you're at. So the fourth one is things happen.
Yep.
Things happen. Allow yourself to make mistakes and then forgive yourself. That doesn't mean you go around beating little kittens up and then, made a mistake and I've got to forgive myself. Don't mean it like that. Kittens are nice. So allow yourself to make mistakes and then forgive yourself for them. We all make mistakes, mate. You made any?
No. Perfect.
Think so, mate.
I every day, man, every dadgum day. There's always room for improvement, but that's the beauty of it, though, right?
Yeah.
That things happen is just a super easy way of saying that we're only human after all. And understand that this is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be better tomorrow than you were today. Shit's gonna happen. It might be your fault. It might be somebody else's fault. It might be no fault of anybody. It could just be something random happening, and just understand, hey, this is just what it is.
Yeah.
This is just what it is,
Yeah. Acceptance, right?
Acceptance. Yeah. And letting it go. That's it.
Yeah. It's a good book, Letting Go. If you've never read that book, read that book. That's a quality book, Letting Go, right? Yeah. But I love that, man. Yeah, things happen. We all make mistakes. And that's what often is like back in the day. I mean, I'm sure that's what really, it's like two things that we attach to the mistakes too. And then they become part of our identity. And that can be in the future, in the past. It can affect our future. It could be still living in stress and depression from the past. It's what crushed me when I was like 26 years old, and I was a top performer in 2 countries in investment real estate. And then I was putting a big project together in Fiji, and my business partner stole all my money, sent me into bankruptcy, lied to me, watched me go through a nervous breakdown, blah, blah, blah. Some of you will know my story. But the truth is, I couldn't let go of the identity or the image I had for my future. I couldn't let go. And although I'd made a mistake and this guy had stolen my money, and because I didn't have specific contracts in and I trusted him too much, he took things from me, right? But at the end of the day, I learned so much from that. And it took me years to overcome. Even with all the stuff I know, it took me years to overcome. But at the end of the day, we have to get to that place. We have to forgive ourselves. We all make mistakes, and it's okay, right? It's okay. But if we don't forgive ourselves and we hold on to that image of the future or the image of the past, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well, man. Trauma.
Not at all. It's extra weight that you don't need to carry. not just forgiving ourselves, but forgiving other people too.
Yeah.
Forgiving again, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And to a lot of people, this might seem like a very stoic way of approaching it, but maybe that's what it is. And I think the Stoics were onto something with this, like what will be, will be. If this is what happened, why am I going to drag this around with me?
It's true.
Let somebody else hold on to it if that's the case, but you don't need to. There's no need. Lighten the load. Let that shit ride and just get on with your life.
I love it. It's hard to run with a weight, right?
Man, you can do. And the problem is people are serial offenders with this, because if they do it once, they're going to do it again. So what ends up happening is now you're dragging around 50 tons of extra weight because you just can't seem to let this crap go. You don't understand that things happen. Everything is taken so personally that you're essentially just crippling yourself every day. And there's just no sense in it. There's no point. And I know people will say, easier said than done, but believe me and Andy are here to tell you, no, it can be very easy. And this is what we do.
Right. Yeah, it's like I love that, and it's like a sports car, right? I treat us all like sports cars, high performance vehicles. If we don't know how to drive the car at that speed, we're going to crash. If we don't know where we're going, we're going to get lost. If we don't know how to maintain the vehicle, it's going to break down. And the reason why they have power to weight ratio in cars to make them go faster. There's a reason they use fiberglass on stuff to make them go faster, right? They're trying to remove everything, all the weights, so you can go faster. Well, it's the same with us, right? It's the same with us. Number 5. This is a classic. I even catch myself saying this one, and I've, and all the work we've done, I still do this. I should have. Woo! God, I should have invested in Bitcoin 10 years ago. Sure, man, I should have done. See, I really should have done because I had the opportunity. We all can do that. Should have bought an Apple stock, right? Yeah. Back in the day. Should have trusted Elon at the start of Tesla, right? Should have not done that, so the business partner did that. Should have not done this, so I didn't do this. I mean, expecting yourself to be better than your best and then punishing yourself when you fail. Yeah. That's the classic saying I say. Expecting yourself to be better than where you are at that stage of life. And then because you haven't got those tools yet, you punish yourself for not being ready. It's like going to the Olympics and you've only trained for 2 years and expecting to win the race, the gold medal, and then not winning the gold medal and then beating yourself up. But that's what kind of people do, right? It is.
It is. And you know who's a really good example of dealing with this, with grace and beauty? And I don't know what your opinion of him is. And if anybody who's watching this, I guarantee you they know damn well who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Gary V, you know, he had an opportunity very early on to go in and Uber, and he said no, he didn't really think it was going to take off. And he tells the story quite a bit. Yeah. But he never looked back. I mean, he tells the story to prove a point, but that's the thing. There's absolutely 0 point in the I should haves, again, because it's done. It's come and it's gone. You know, there's no point in living there anymore because you're going to stay there and it's going to put blinders on to what you could potentially do next. I should have done this. Oh, I should have said this, you know, ... And then here you are 3 years from what you should have done, and you're still fucking worried about that shit you should have done, and it just held you back, and you were so blind because of it that you missed so many amazing opportunities to say or do things differently. Right. It's a tragedy, you know? It really is.
I love that, mate. Yeah, and then it's I should have becomes, again, it's like it becomes an excuse. Yeah. It becomes an excuse why you didn't. Oh, you know, I could have been a multimillionaire, but I did this and then this happened and I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? If I'd only invested here, and yeah, I love what you said there. I should have. And then it really is it's just a way to escape. It's a sabotage pattern. It's connected to a trauma. It's a way for you to justify where you are instead of being where you should. And that's some weak shit. You know what I mean?
That is weak. But the problem is, and again, I don't think, at least consciously, at the conscious level, that a lot of people know that that's exactly what it is. It's a scapegoat, you know? It's a way of making yourself feel better because you didn't, instead of letting the shit go and then finding another way to do this, that, or the other, or to say this the way you would have rather have done it. Right. It lets you off the damn hook. Right. And I think, actually, to be honest with you, I do think more often than not, it's a subconscious thing, but I think there are people that are very consciously aware of this and do it just because of that.
Excuse, right? And it's like, instead of learning the lesson, like you said about Gary Vee, which was a badass example, he then made sure that he didn't miss out on other opportunities because he missed out on that one, right? That's the thing. That's the growth. That's the lesson.
That's the beauty. Like, how in the hell, you know, if your eyes are so focused on one thing, especially one thing that has already happened and come and gone, that is so fucking stupid, because you can't take your eyes off that to see the good in other opportunities or this, that, and the other. And like, again, for us, it blows our mind. And I think a lot of people listening to this, it blows their mind, but it's probably also making them think, well, shit, I'm doing that right now, you know?
How's that working out, everybody?
I do it. To this day, I do it. I'll catch myself and I'm like, oh no, we gotta shut this down.
Of course. Which leads us to number 6, and then seventh is cool. So number 6 is I love, you know, you are only responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a sociopath or a psychopath or a narcissist, but you are genuinely only responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. So lose the guilt. Just as not everything is your fault, not everything is your responsibility either. Putting too much of a burden on yourself is disrespectful of those around you. Allow others to be themselves. So does this lead to putting expectations on people and then them not living up to the expectation, so you get disappointed?
Every time, man. And and like you see it every day when you're scrolling. You know, oh, I'm so disappointed in humanity, or you think you have friends, but nobody's there for you when you're there for them, and blah, like, because fucking Uncle Rick didn't help you move a damn couch or something when he was supposed to. It's like, God. Right. And it takes on a new life of its own. It puts a massive distortion on your faith in humanity. And it gives you, again, a salty, negative optics on yourself, on other people. But when people see you doing that, it puts it back on yourself, Right. And what I don't think people understand is, and when we say this, it's always the people with martyrdom syndrome that scoff at it, like, oh, I have kids, I put them first. And it's like, whoa. Yeah, but you can't take care of them if you don't take care of yourself. You are responsible for your response to everything, your own stimulus, like, so Uncle Rick said he'd move the couch with you, but he didn't. But instead of flying off the handle and being passive aggressive on social media, maybe you picked up the phone and just called someone else, or maybe you rescheduled. I mean, we could have avoided a lot of shit, if you just understood that this is on you. You can do whatever you want with the outcome of this situation.
Right. And also probably Uncle Rick didn't even say yes. He just said, I'll see. And then you went like, right, you've got to be here at 8 o'clock at this time because I'm leaving at 2 minutes past. And if you're not there, the world's going to explode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, you let me down. Well, maybe. But it's just like, or somebody you just met, and then you don't really know them, and we've all done this, then you jump into like a business deal with them, but that business deal is like you've got everything on the line for that business deal, and you haven't even discussed all the details or the idea or the concept, and then it's like, oh, I need this, oh, they fucking ripped me off. No, you didn't rip you off. You didn't take care of your own stuff. You know what I mean? Handle it.
100%.
Which leads us to number 7, mate.
Yeah.
And this, I feel, is a huge one, especially I have a brutal way of dealing with this, and I'll explain how I did it. It's harsh but effective. And what the number 7 is, focus on what's possible. People follow you for a reason, right? And that's what you've always got to understand. This is about leadership. So focus on what's possible. So I use this for myself. And when our own self-talk becomes our powerhouse, and this is something we'll teach in the one day, it's your self-talk when you're dealing with high-pressure performance or making decisions becomes critical in everything. So I treat it like this. And I'm really harsh with myself. And I say this to clients, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it. But it's like, oh, that person let you down? What are you telling me for? Go and solve the problem. Oh, you haven't got any money? And go and solve the problem. Oh, you don't, that person did that to you? Okay, that sucks. Go and solve the problem, right? But what people do is, like we spoke about, the whole theme behind this is focusing on what we don't want rather than what we do. So it's focus on what's possible. So solve the problem. Now, people like the self-help douchebags out there are going to go, problem? We can't use the word problem. Yeah, we can, because I'm using it. And it's a problem we got to solve, right? That's it. So stop with the stupidity. It's a problem that we are solving. And if we constantly change our focus to solving the problem, then guess what? We're in constant motion. We're in constant expectation of that there being the result we want. And just like Edison was at 10,000 tries to get the light bulb working, it's the same thing. Did he focus on the issue or solving the problem? No, he focused on the outcome and the solution. And if we can do that in every aspect of our life, then what it does is it changes how we're wired. It's like, again, I always go back to sports, but an Olympic gold medalist, right? What's possible? The gold medal. Does it matter if they didn't sleep the night before, if they've got an injury, if they messed up and lost every single race leading up to that Olympics? No, it didn't, right? What they focused on was what's possible. And if we can take that aspect in every area of our life, then it just changes the game. Anything you want to add to that, man?
No, I think you're pretty spot on. And again, it's shifting that frame from one of either negativity and neutrality to positivity, and I don't mean this in a hippy dippy way. I just mean it's easier to use those words and possibility and positivity go hand in hand, rather than putting all neutrality and negativity, you get to a certain point and you're like, oh, I hit it. This is it. This is it.
Look for the love, right?
Yeah, man.
Look for the love. And speaking of looking for the love and focus on what's possible, do something different. Do something different. And you know what you're going to do different? You're going to come and hang out with me and Dean for 5+ hours, right? And we're going to show you things that I guarantee you have never been shown. I'm going to show you things personally. Right? Dean's got a whole slew of things to show you. But it's like I'm going to show you literally all about how to tune this up. Dean's going to show you how to tune this up, plus the physical side. And in one day, one day, do you understand that? I'll say it again, one day, this system is going to predictably get you to see your income, business, and your future as a multimillionaire. Now, why is that important? Because the version of you that's looking at your business and life right now is not that multimillionaire. And if you are a multimillionaire, there's another level above that, right? So this is there's always levels. But at the end of the day, you can't make decisions from this box about the next stage. You have to see the world through that next stage to be able to make decisions about it. So what you think is possible, it's not. It's extremely limited. What we're going to expand you and unlock you to see is what is truly possible if you wipe the slate clean, took all of your awesome attributes, layered them together, and created a new blueprint. And if you can do that again and again and again and again, then what happens is this new version of you is powerful. It's formed a very different way, which means you see income, beliefs, the speed this can happen, your network, everything so radically different that everything changes. Your income will change instantly that week, that day, because you have changed from the inside. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you things that I know no one else in this industry is showing you. Why? Because we're a little different, right? And we've got a lot of experience. So if you resonate with all of that, then keep in touch, hit the link, join our group, right? And also share this with somebody. And also make sure that when we post the link for the Limitless Day, you jump on it, because it is exclusive, it is limited, it's not going to be available for everybody. And I want you to be a part of it. And come on the journey with us. Anything else there, brother?
Oh, man, just excited. I can't wait.
I'm excited too. Right, everybody, we'll see you next week. Hit us up, because we're going to be hitting you up very, very soon. But much love. Give me some knuckles, brother. Nickels. I don't need nickels. We need dollars. Later. Okay, crew, there we are, the end of episode 319. Hopefully you enjoyed that. You can see that me and Dean have got a lot to talk about. Well, especially myself, right? I can definitely talk. But I hope you resonated with that, and I hope that you want to be a part of this now, because this is a game changer, right? It's a game changer. We're doing it for 50% discount for the first few. And so, this is an opportunity to jump in, and we get to hang out live, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I actually did one of these with another company a few weeks ago, and it was over 3 days. It was 2 hours a day, but it was so cool. It was so cool. And it just gave confirmation that this is huge value for people. And I want to do this, and this is going to be a regular thing. And slightly different themes, but this first one, we're going to be playing, so which means you're going to have so much more value. So remember, go to Facebook, type in Project Limitless, or hit the show notes up. There'll be a link in there. Or come and find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever it is. There's lives going to be blasting everywhere real soon, but it's very easy to find me. It's just Andy Murphy Mindset. So do that now. Let's do this. Or if you want to actually speak to me about actual coaching, I take on like one person a month right now. I'm pretty much full, but that person could be you. And if it is you, I promise you one thing: your life, business, and everything will radically change. Promise you, guarantee, fact, right? Whatever you've done before, coaching, therapy, psychology, business coaching, business psychology, whatever it is you've done before, I'm going to take you to a whole different level that you haven't experienced. That's my guarantee. That's my promise. I do things differently, and it's time to do things differently for yourself. So let's hit that up. Just go to andymurphy.online, and you can click the mentoring and apply today. Sound good? Beautiful. So why don't you go and have an amazing day? Let's jump on those links. Let's connect together. Let's do something different, and let's make this year amazing. Let's make it amazing. You deserve it. So until then, until we connect very, very soon, why don't you do one more thing for me? Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.